Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Before and After with your shooter, as always, Queen Crazy K. Be sure to, as always, hit that follow, that like, that share, that subscribe button on both Instagram and both YouTube, Queen Crazy K. This is a double knockout podcast. In this hour-long podcast video, I'm going to go over what happened in the last couple of weeks, in these past 2 weeks, on Raw, SmackDown, and all the above. Anything you want to know, need to know, and like always, be sure to watch, like, follow, subscribe on both Instagram, YouTube, to your family, your friends, all that good stuff. Cause this is gonna be a good one. Then we got tonight on my Raw, of course, gonna do my prediction with the GOAT 16-time WWE champion, the greatest of all time, hustle, always to respect, never give up. You can't see me, John Cena, my favorite of all time, returning to Boston, Massachusetts tonight on Monday Night Raw. So, with further ado, with that being said, let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you the last Monday Night Raw, my prediction. Now, this is 2 weeks, okay? So, this is the week before last. This is a double podcast. This is my Raw prediction for that one.
I want to do my Monday Night Raw wrestling predictions for tonight. So I predict that Seth freaking Rollins will beat The Miz to recover from getting cheated out of the Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship belt. Burning it down Monday Night Raw until The Miz in a singles action. And then our Raw champion, Bianca Belair, is going to be face to face with Asuka as they head to WrestleMania for the Raw Championship.
And they are.
And
he did.
That's the Rated R Superstar Edge is going to, in theory, in a singles action. And then Seth is going to challenge Logan Paul to a WrestleMania match.
Face to face tonight. Logan Paul and Seth.
And as far as that, I think that's the almighty Bobby Lashley challenging Brock Lesnar to no disqualification match at WrestleMania for what happened at Elimination.
Didn't happen. Omos and Brock Lesnar.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn joining in the American Nightmare as he stepped in with Roman Reigns.
Possibly.
Because you can imagine Jimmy and Solo's going to be there.
Yep.
We all still don't know which team Jay's going to choose.
Yep.
And that'll be the icebreaker.
Facts.
That's my Yeet. Prediction.
Still possibility.
Yeah, I'll follow, like, share, subscribe on both Instagram and YouTube. Peace.
That's right. So as you can see, that was my Raw prediction for a couple of weeks ago, which is still a possibility. Now we have, of course, with a couple of Monday Night Raw wrestlers that was going on and all that. Now I was talking about WrestleMania further ado because WrestleMania is the biggest stage and greatest of all year round. Like, it will be talked about in the beginning of the year, the end, the middle of the year, and still talked about until next year when WrestleMania time all over again. We'll still be talking about the last WrestleMania that happened because we can't get over how empowering was. Like, you can most likely see all your favorite superstars, whether it's Raw, whether it's SmackDown, hell, even NXT. Now you got A&W, you got Impact, Ring of Honor, Woman of Honor, all the above, these pro wrestling going on and happening. That could all be at WrestleMania. Anything and everything could happen on Monday Night Raw. You had Lita return to Monday Night Raw, and now Tag Team Women's Champion. You got Big Time Bex and Lita, Tag Team Women's Champions over Dakota Kai and Io Shirai. Like I said, was going to happen. And the woman that broke the record, that made history for people like Becky Lynch to walk in that ring and be able to do that. Trish Stratus gave that stratosphere, helped them out against Bayley. And now we got Tag Team Women's Champion and Damage Control got what they deserve by the legendary 6-time, 7-time Women's Champion who broke the history record for women of all time. Trish Stratus being able to take out Bayley. Lita, one half of the Tag Team Women's Champion. Big Time Bex, who runs Monday Night Raw currently as one of the dominating horsewomen on Monday Night Raw as the other half of the Tag Team Women's Champion. It couldn't get better, any better than that. Now, I knew that was going to happen. I predicted that was going to happen. What I didn't know was going to happen on Monday Night Raw, I thought it was going to be more for WrestleMania, but different things happened. It still happened the way I said. It just was on Monday Night Raw, not WrestleMania, and that was awesome. That was amazing. That was a little bit surprised. You know, I've always been a fan of Trish Stratus. Lita had to grow on to me a little bit because when I was growing up, you know, my all-time favorite wrestler was John Cena and still is and always will be my number one all-time favorite wrestler, John Cena, 16-time champ. hustle, loyal to respect, ruthless, prototype, ruthless, aggressive, whatever it is that you want to call him, that made his own 20 years championship specifically for John Cena, who will be returning in Boston, Massachusetts tonight on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully to challenge Austin Theory for the United States Championship belt at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. And with Seth Rollins finishing what he started over Logan Paul at Elimination Chamber, what Logan Paul started, Seth Rollins and finishing it as the main eventer, as the architect, as Monday Night Rollins, burning it down as always at WrestleMania, who knows exactly what he's doing, who's the king of manipulation and mind games, and that you don't want to play mind games, man, unless you're ready to get in that ring of throne, because Seth Rollins is the king of mind games, and he knows what he's doing because he's the best at it. What better than him to play the commercial the Joker because he is the Joker. So I'm waiting for that to happen. Along with my prediction tonight, Bianca Belair beating Carmella, and what's next for her and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship belt as they head to WrestleMania face to face. And that, Bianca Belair had enough games. She's kind of already been through that at the Royal Rumble and on my Night Raw with Alexa Bliss, so she kind of already knows and what to expect as far as supernatural when it comes to Asuka. It's just she never knows what she's going to do and when she's going to do it. That's just it. You don't know what she's going to do. Now, I know one thing that Asuka hasn't pulled yet that Bianca hasn't seen, and that's at any given time, she can pull out that green mist and it will hurt and it will blindside you. Now, hopefully she does that, before WrestleMania, so she kind of get a hint of what's going on now. She showed some of her supernatural, but not all of it yet. So that's what the EST's gotta think about and be like, she put the E and the S in WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship belt, SmackDown Women's Champion against two of the greatest horsewomen, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, big time Bex. Now it's time for her to put the T, defeat Asuka for being the Raw Women's Champion, and put the EST all together at WrestleMania. Now she gotta beat Carmella tonight to prove that she's ready for Asuka, just to prove her point to her. On top of as she heads to WrestleMania and tonight's Monday Night Raw, that is my Monday Night Raw prediction. And towards WrestleMania prediction matches. And then also tonight, Solo picking up the victory in the singles action, I think. And then still wondering where Jey Uso is going to choose Bloodline or Sami Zayn. And it seems like the American Nightmare and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, even though he said he wasn't on the same team as Sami, but then he attacked the Bloodline just like Sami did on SmackDown. So that kind of put it like, well, there could be a possibility all three of them will be at WrestleMania with Solo, Jimmy, and Roman Reigns. Like the American Nightmare and Roman Reigns, like Roman Reigns gave the respect to the third generation American Nightmare for the Universal Champion on this past SmackDown. That was pretty shocking that he actually respected him. And I think that Drew McIntyre is next in line for the Intercontinental Championship belt against Gunther, and Braun Strowman and Ricochet, they won the tag team match against the Viking Raiders as they won against the Imperium in a six-man tag team match since it got interrupted with the Intercontinental Championship belt. Charlotte dominated SmackDown as champion, but Rhea Ripley dominated against Liv Morgan shows that, hey, I got things that you haven't seen yet, like pulling out that four-leaf clover that and unexpectedly that you haven't seen, and that you don't know the dominating Nightmare Rhea Ripley now that you did 3 years ago. And that you could be walking in the lines in a Rhea Ripley and be seeing a new SmackDown Women's Champion at WrestleMania. So if I was Charlotte, I wouldn't get too comfortable. And as far as that goes, like she's dominated at the Judgment Day, like she did, like she said. She entered number one to survive all 29 on the women to win the Royal Rumble, like she said. She's going and been dominant on SmackDown and Raw and singles actions, not even just a part of a group, to show that Rhea Ripley is the one doing this and that she could do it by herself and on her own, and she did. I didn't appreciate Dominic, them having him disrespect Rey Mysterio's mask, the legend of it. He tried to stick up for Dominic, against Dominic, I mean, for Rey Mysterio, and Dominic picked up the win. That in the singles action, I think that Rey Mysterio could really verse Dominic at WrestleMania to squash all this once and for all for everything he's done to him. And Rhea Ripley focused on SmackDown Women's Champion. I think Rhea Ripley could be the next new SmackDown Women's Champion against Charlotte and throw her off of her game. Raw Champion Bianca Belair, like I said, tonight over Carmella and Ox at WrestleMania. Just to prove she's ready for her. Like I said, she's got to watch out for that green mist, though. That's the only thing that I could think of that Oxa has up her sleeve that we haven't seen yet. Because yes, this is a different Oxa than the past, but we've seen kind of a supernatural dominant. There's a reason why she was undefeated for 2 years, streak. There's a reason for that. NXT Women's Champion, Raw Women's Champion, dominant both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and Tag Team Women's Champion, and Miss Money in the Bank. There's a reason for that. That Asuka is the Empress of tomorrow and the future of today. But there's a reason why the EST is all day, every day. She's the Raw Women's Champion, former SmackDown Women's Champion, dominate two of the Horsewomen, and actually, technically, all three of the Horsewomen. She just hasn't tangled with Charlotte so much. I think she did one match with her at one time, but it got interrupted, so they didn't really get to finish that situation with her. And last time they met face to face, it was all about respect between the two champs. So as far as that goes, and Royal Rumble winner as well, elimination champ. Her and Ox got a lot in common. Both Raw Women's Champion. Both Royal Rumble winner. Miss Money in the Bank, but Bianca Belair's won Elimination Chamber. Dominant both Raw and SmackDown, except Bianca Belair has main event and won both of her E and the S at WrestleMania. This is her T in Hollywood, kids, to collect it all. And they got Seth freaking Rollins, who burned it down, defeating The Miz in his singles action, and showing he's ready for Logan Paul tonight to finish what he started at WrestleMania. And we see the Beast Brock Lesnar that was gonna, he F5'd MPV only because you spit out his drink on him. Anybody would. You spit on the guy. Of course he's gonna F5 you. He's the Beast. He can't be too nice. Gonna take on Omos. That is gonna be a gladiator match at WrestleMania. That is gonna be a match to keep your popcorn and kind of sit a couple rows back because they might go through the crowd and dominate you. I mean, that poor referee, I hope they re-increase that ring when those two gladiators get in that ring, because they're going to tear it down like in the past before. Wouldn't be the first time that that's happened with two giants in there. And then I think that maybe Otis should verse Reed in a singles action. He beat Chad last time, threw him off of his game, and kind of came up short there when Otis gets distracted by this modeling thing going on, and Chad already lost to Reed. I think that Reed and Otis going against each other, that would be a good one to see tonight on Monday Night Raw. As you can see, I'm mixing up with last couple weeks of Monday Night Raw based off of that results. Brings me to this past Monday Night Raw and tonight's Monday Night Raw prediction towards prediction of WrestleMania, including last and the other before that Friday Night SmackDown to this coming Friday Night SmackDown prediction and WrestleMania. So all in that same sentence, I just did the Raw results, SmackDown results, Raw prediction, SmackDown prediction, and tonight's Raw prediction and this week's SmackDown prediction, including WrestleMania with the matches that already happened and then with the matches that I want and to happen. And also I mentioned the Super Showdown over this last weekend as well. We've seen after SmackDown went off air, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes defeating Finn Balor in a singles action for what he did to Edge. I still think, obviously, revengeance for Edge on Finn Balor is still to come. And maybe Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, with them winning their singles match with Natalya and Knox, I think they could be next in line for, the challenge Becky Lynch and Lita for the Tag Team Women's Championship at WrestleMania, maybe. I think that's what's going to happen with that situation right there. And my prediction for this Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, it could happen either one because we only got one Tag Team Women's Championship belt, so we've got to kind of throw in both there. With that being said, I'm going to show some, this past videos of, that was my Raw prediction and a little bit, like I said, a replica of Monday Night Raw. There's an update on Kurt Angle, Hall of Famer, legendary, won a gold Olympics medals with a broken neck. Always true. It's damn true. Kurt Angle's one of the most dominant Hall of Fame legendaries in the WWE history on the bio of legends that you could see and that you could process. He's getting, since 2006, I believe it said, he's had this neck injury going on, with him winning a gold medalist with a broken neck. That it's been going on since 2006. This injury, he's got to get surgery. So all prayers and hopes and thoughts for that to go well for Kurt Angle to be able to process and go through with that surgery and everything goes well for him and it went successful. Hopefully it does and everything goes good for him. Natalia, best ever was, best ever will be. Generations to generation, dominating the judging chamber and training her way to get to the top. Former women's divas champion, untold divas, all the above. Natalia giving the props for Asuka to earn her way for the Raw Women's Champion opportunity at WrestleMania, and what better than her to lead, who's dominant and who's gets to wrestle with these women, but she kind of gives them a little bit of a hand, a little bit of a push as well. With her already being here for a while, and then inviting you to come give yourself a shot and prove yourself, type of thing, like the horsewoman kind of thing. So I think that was really cool of her to show that compassion to her Axa and give her the props and the respect and the dues where it is, where it's due. So psyched, just like everyone else. John Cena returning tonight. I hope he challenges Austin Theory for the United States Championship belt at WrestleMania. What better than John Cena holds that United States Championship belt better than anybody, in my opinion, to hold it again at WrestleMania, just to show why he is the GOAT and the 16-time champion for a reason. Greatest of all time. WWE wrestler, superstar, champion, just John Cena, because you ain't going to be able to see him tonight in Boston, Massachusetts, or WrestleMania if that match happens. Fingers crossed. I'm going to show you my Monday Night Raw results, though. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, you know, Jimmy attacked Sami on SmackDown, then Sami attacked Jimmy on SmackDown, and won the singles match shit on Raw, just like the Bloodline dominated on SmackDown, and same thing with Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, got it on Elimination Chamber Raw for what they did on SmackDown, and Ali picking up a victory over Dolph Ziggler, interfering in his VIP to celebrate that he beat Dolph Ziggler in that singles action section. American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, ready for who beat Finn Balor in singles match for what he did to Edge, ready for the Universal Champion opportunity against the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Expecting one night on SmackDown for that to happen. What better than the mind games himself to play Joker? Seth Rollins obviously picking up the victory. Now it's Bianca Belair's turn over Carmella's victory tonight. To show why she will remain the T and the EST Raw and champion at WrestleMania. That was more gross than scary. But Bianca Belair wasn't playing the week after. She was angrier than a hornet. But she's not in the mood for games. Neither is Seth Rollins. Burning it down with The Miz. Challenging Logan Paul to meet him face to face tonight to finish what he started at Elimination Chamber. Probably at WrestleMania. Excuse me. Is what Reed would say with Otis focusing on his modeling while Chad, got defeated in the singles action. Big time Becky and Lita, new tag team women's champions. One of the horsemen, Becky Lynch, Hall of Fame legendary Lita, who Lita's had a rub off on me over the years. I like the Rated R superstar Edge, who she was with, but I didn't like Lita at first. She had a rub off on me over the years to like her, because I didn't like her screw on John Cena, and he was my favorite wrestler, that's why. Whereas Trish Stratus, I've always liked Trish Stratus. She's always given me that stratosphere. Yeah, I think Reed and Otis, that'll be a good tree trump match right there. Dominating, instruction, gladiator match. Tonight on Monday Night Raw, they should make that happen. Almighty Bobby Lashley just destroying anybody that gets in his way. Elias, who he defeated last time in a singles action. Theory is the IC champion. Hopefully gets challenged by John Cena tonight since he's been calling him out. Finn Balor, yeah, unnecessary what he did to the Rated R superstar Edge, and that is how Theory was able to pick up that victory. Still, to me, Edge has already got his what needs to be done, and like I said, Theory can handle with a different situation on that part, but it should really be Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania, Cena versus Theory finishes Sham at WrestleMania, because Theory has been calling out John Cena since day one and been really wanting to go up there and show him why he is the champ or whatever his mojo is to prove to him. And we have the Imperial, the undefeated Intercontinental Champion Gunther, and then marrying the boys on the bump on F character with Mia Yim on After the Bell with Carmella's return that she wants to stop Asuka from getting in that championship at WrestleMania, but she was not able to do it. So now she will verse the EST tonight and in singles action because you trying to get Asuka, that's all good and dandy, but you hit the EST and that's where you made a mistake at. Now the EST is gonna dominate you tonight, but the question is, Asuka's gonna be watching what's gonna be up her sleeve. What kind of tricks is gonna be in her box tonight on the EST is the question. Because Asuka can be really supernatural and dominant at the same time. The EST, she's dominant, but I don't really put her on the supernatural part. But I do know she's experienced supernatural with Alexa Bliss, and she overcame that. So who says she can't do the same thing with Oxy here? Then we got my favorite commentary, who's on After the Bell, Monday Night Raw commentary, After the Bell podcast. Corey Graves, it was his birthday. Happy birthday to Corey Graves. Shout out to him for his top move birthday. NXT former champion and NXT former tag team champions was that in that category. Because he was the NXT commentary, and I'm on that Raw commentary, SmackDown, and this is After the Bell, and it was his birthday. It's awesome to see that. Have Oxa best top 10 along with Carmella's, because Oxa and Carmella was in that singles action, and now Oxa is going to WrestleMania for the Raw champion against Bianca Belair. And Carmella, I think she kind of hit Bianca on accident, and her most focus was to stop Oxa. Now that hasn't happened, she has no other choice but to stop the other woman, which it really doesn't. It's like probably if she beats Bianca tonight, then she might get added to a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship belt against Bianca and Asuka, where Bianca doesn't have to be in the match to lose by pinfall or submission her championship belt. It would kind of go like that way. Or, that's what the stipulation would be tonight, since, she really wanted to verse her and got it, but you had your chance at Elimination Chamber. Asuka beat you at Elimination Chamber, just like you beating Asuka. Like, you're a former SmackDown woman, two-time Money in the Bank winner, two-time SmackDown Women's Champion, Tag Team Women's Champion. Asuka's a former Tag Team Women's Champion, two-time Raw Women's Champion, and a SmackDown Women's Champion, and a Miss Money in the Bank, and she beat you at Elimination Chamber just like you beat her. She's earned her way and beat you again on Raw when you thought that wasn't enough, making you tap out on both occasions. Asuka has shown and earned her way to make it for the Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. And the EST has done nothing but dominated, even before she was Raw Women's Champion. And now currently as Raw Women's Champion. That's why she's the EST, the BEST of WWE. That is why, right there. Now this is this past SmackDown prediction I'm going to show you right here. Now, between with Raw and SmackDown, this is my Raw prediction for this past Monday Night Raw. I was going to show you this new video.
It's Queen Krazy. Hey, be sure to hit that follow, that like, that share, that subscribe button on both Instagram and YouTube. I'm going to make my Monday Night Raw predictions for tonight. I think that big time Bex and Lita is going to capture those tag team women's championships. Of course, that's what I want to happen, but I really think that
and Lita and Big Time Bex did and is new tag team women's champion. Not only a 6-time women's champion Lita, one half of the tag team women's champion Lita, with who's made the history happen for Big Time Bex to be one half of the tag team women's champion. One of the horsewomen dominating together to face, I think, Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey WrestleMania, and Trish Stratus, 7-time women's champion, Hall of Fame legendary. made that
So the
possible against
challenge now
Damage
is Omos,
Control.
but the almighty Bobby Lashley is definitely gonna get his revenge first for what happened to Alan as champ before he steps in that ring with
Almighty
Omos
Bobby
at
Lashley
WrestleMania.
destroyed Elias with
So
Brock
definitely
Lesnar,
excited what
accepted MPV's
Bobby's
challenge with
next is.
MPV on Omos at
Jimmy Uso
WrestleMania.
and Solo in a tag team action to make a statement that the Bloodline is ready for
And they
WrestleMania,
did win out
as
with the
well as
Street
the
Profits in
Street
the
Profits
tag
put
team,
up
like
a
I
hell of
said
a
was going
match,
to
a hell of a
happen.
performance at Elimination Chamber. My
And that's when
transformers
Kevin
were
Owens said, you
great
ain't dominated
matches
Street
shared
Profits here,
as
but
well,
they dominate
which also means that his
you
new
at Royal
bloodline
Rumble
accepted
and
challenge
on
versus
SmackDown for it,
Rollins at
and
WrestleMania that
on SmackDown
hasn't
for
been
what Sami
made,
Zayn
but
did in singles action,
we still got time for it
and
to
on Monday Night
happen because
Raw.
they got unfinished business into Elimination Chamber situation. With that being said,
With Seth Rollins and
we
Logan
also have
Paul face to
Candice
face tonight
LeRae,
for
who I
Elimination
think
Chamber
has become
towards
one of the
WrestleMania.
part of the team right
I think
there.
Rey
As
Mysterio's
she
gonna
versus
challenge at
Piper
WrestleMania
in a singles action is the
Dominic,
question.
just like,
And also
and who knows, maybe they could be a part of
Carmella and Alexa. I
SmackDown
think that a Rollins champion Bianca Belair needs to prove to Alexa as she steps in that ring with Carmella that
tonight.
she could be just as sadistic and unique and things maybe she hasn't seen and not ready for the EST for the Raw Women's Championship belt
EST
at
versus Carmella
WrestleMania.
tonight.
She's not
Get
here
ready,
with
Oxa.
Drew
You ain't ready for the
exclusive.
Raw Women's
That's that
Champion,
on my Monday
Oxa.
Night Raw prediction.
You ain't
Follow, like,
ready.
share, subscribe on both Instagram and YouTube.
And she gonna
Thanks
see
for
tonight
K's out. Peace.
the other side of Bianca Belair that she thinks she's seen, but hasn't seen yet. Oh, this is gonna be a good one between Ox and Bianca Belair though at WrestleMania. I'll tell you that much. Both of these women are dominant. They have so much in common and in history, and with them reconstructing together and against each other. You can be tag team partners and friends and all that stuff, and have the same amount of history as amongst each other as the individual or tag team. But them against each other is going to be like an NXT old fashioned history match at WrestleMania all over again, even though they're both from Monday Night Raw. That's what it's going to feel like. That's what it's going to look like. Now, I want to show you this other one here. Must be Monday Night Raw. It's exactly what I was just talking about this past Monday Night Raw. So, as you see, my Raw prediction, my Raw results, you know, then it's Raw results amongst that with the attitude and the bump after the bell and a little bit of outside that you need to hear and you need to see towards WrestleMania. That is the greatest and the biggest stage of all time, all year. It's hard not to think about it in January, and now here it is, March, less than a month away. Already March 6th, less than a month away from WrestleMania. And I want to show you my Raw results, with Lita and Big Time X Celebrate as Tag Team Women's Champion. Like I said, I think Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler next in line at WrestleMania. They're going to make that challenge on SmackDown as far as that goes since it's time. And they're going to be looking for opponents. Big Time Bex and Lita are going to be like, well, now we're Tag Team Women's Champion. Who reversing at WrestleMania? That's where Ronda Rousey and Shayna say, you know what? We dominate everybody on SmackDown. Time to take what we deserve, tag team women's championships, and hold them on our shoulders on SmackDown. Big Time Bex Lee will say, you know what? We're going to fight for what we earned on Raw. And it's going to make official on that tag team match at WrestleMania. It's going to be a kickoff tag team. This is my Monday Night Raw video I want to show you. So, and then we have Beth Phoenix. Like I said, I think Edge is going to go against Finn Balor, who's on the bump. Seth Rollins, an out of character, who's also on Save After the Bell, as well against hopefully Tim Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Steph can burn it down as the main event at WrestleMania and finish what was started. And of course, they're going to reap a couple of down in Chamber, of course. Got the Warrior workout with Dominic, who I think is going to be versus Rey Mysterio in there. American Nightmare ready for Roman Reigns, just like Roman Reigns ready for him winning over Sami Zayn, Universal Champion, as well as American Nightmare did over Finn Balor after SmackDown had went off air. After Raw and SmackDown WWE exclusive. With that being said, and then right here, now Zoe Starks from NXT joined Liv Morgan, who celebrated a fan after her match was over to cheer her up for the SmackDown Women's Championship belt. Charlotte, still currently to versus Rhea Ripley. Now this was my SmackDown prediction.
Be sure to hit that follow, that like, that share, subscribe button on both Instagram and YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and do my Friday Night SmackDown for the night's prediction. I predict that Solo will defeat Sami Zayn to celebrate that he is now a married man to celebrate that. It was actually on Friday Night SmackDown. Roman Reigns and the American Nightmare can say exactly what they've been saying to each other's face for WrestleMania for that Universal Championship belt.
And Roman Reigns and the American Nightmare did respect each other for the
Shane
Universal
really said
Championship
about
at
this
WrestleMania.
that they are going to challenge Becky Lynch and Lita for the Tag Team Championship belts at WrestleMania.
Yup.
As far as that goes,
They will since they dominate.
I think that's pretty much all I got for my SmackDown predictions for tonight. And Drew McIntyre's next in line for Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship opportunity. And then that
It got interrupted, so still to come.
Sheamus, if the other ones get involved, of the imperative. But then there'll be one man short.
It became a six-man
As
match
far
for
as that
Braun
goes,
Strowman and Ricochet,
I can
though,
think of maybe
who will be
Braun
versus the
Strowman
Viking
and
Raiders in a
Ricochet
tag team action this
joining
Friday.
that team.
It's a little bit different.
That is my SmackDown prediction. Big Crazy K Ball. Subscribe on YouTube, and I'm out. Peace.
Well, this is the results of it all. Of it all, and was. Although some of Throne Reigns the American Nightmare. Their families in it, since wrestling, legends, Hall of Famers of their family, and now them carrying that right now currently as an individual superstar. And here's my mind on Raw. I just want to celebrate the remix of Ariana Grande in the weekend because she is now the artist, the queen, like I've been saying, on top of the world of villains. Like I said, and that Creed movie was a little bit better because Michael B. Jordan is cuter than Rocky, but both good movies on boxing though. Rocky was a good boxing movie. I just like Creed better because Michael B. Jordan is cuter. That's why. My zombie video games that are amazing to play. Damn, I look good. So is my wrestling gear. And the Usos winning their tag team, like I said, Phil and Jimmy. While their family's been dominating for 30 years in the WWE. And Kevin Owens, that was what makes me think him and Sammy gonna join the American Night against Jimmy and against Solo and Roman at WrestleMania. Big time Becky and Lita predicting and knowing there's gonna be tag team world champion. American Night, like after what he did to Corbin, putting him in his place, picked up the singles action against Chad that Otis is bidding in the modeling. Oxa proved herself last week. Now it's Bianca's turn this week. And Bianca was not frightened by Oxa last week. Piper the singles action against Candice LeRae with the friendship with Nikki Cross. And that singles action on tag team match. Oh yeah, beat Johnny and Finn tonight. Johnny wrestling and Finn tonight. And that's where Edge can get his revenge on Finn towards WrestleMania match. And instead of challenging Logan to face-to-face tonight, getting The Miz, who is the host of Hollywood at WrestleMania, the picture. Nice challenge. Third challenges John Cena, who's returning tonight face-to-face. No, Molly Lashley. Dominate anybody that comes in his way. Omos and Brock was versus. I wonder who's going to be versus Bobby. Oh, The Feed, Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, whoever, whatever. Bray Wyatt or Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy attacked Bobby Lashley. So now it's time for Bobby Lashley to challenge Uncle Howdy to a match at WrestleMania. Who speared him and wasn't having it. And I still think Rhea and Owens should show at that Mel Madison situation. dominant and destruction all into one at one time. With that happening in that match. So now, you have them matches. Yeah. You have the dominant matches and all that. So this is the other deal that, since we have time, I will celebrate it and I will talk and, exactly what I was putting on. Well, Reigns and the Usos in the Bronx dominating the pure destruction. So this is the top 10. We're going to do Lita first, okay? Since Lita came out first, we're going to do Lita's top 10 first, as she is one half of Tag Team Women's Champion. She's a 6-time Women's Champion. She's one half of the Tag Team Women's Champion. She's made history to make the Tag Team Champions possible and to be Tag Team Women's Champion with one half of the Tag Team Women's Champion, with one of the Horsewomen, Big Time Becks on Monday Night Raw. And we're going to take a look at why that is of the Hall of Fame legendary Lita. This is her biggest moments right here.
Download the Domino's app today and become a piece of the Pie Rewards member to earn points toward free pizza.
Jaw dropping debut. So, Lita kind of had a grew on to me. Because I grew up watching, of course, John Cena was my favorite wrestler and still is my favorite wrestler. I can't wait for him to turn the night of all time. But I didn't like Lita cheating when she was with Edge over John Cena. But now, over the years, Lita's grew on to me as 6-time Women's Champion. She's a Hall of Fame. She's a legendary. She has dominated. She has been the rock and roll star that she is today as Lita. I think that Shayna and Ron are coming for their tag team with champs at WrestleMania. Where they do it on SmackDown or Raw. Where with the Hardy Boys as a 6-man tag team match. We got Matt Hardy on the AEW as one of the Hardy Boys with Lita in that 6-man tag team match. Being that kind of rock and roll, does whatever she needs to. Firehead. What better than her and Becky Lynch team up being tag team women's champions together, and they are as 6-time women's champion who made it possible for to even have a regular wrestling match or tag team titles to win for a woman besides a pearl or a butterfly title. Teaming up with the one and only, the great one, to WrestleMania with The Rock is cooking. World Heavyweight Champion, most electrifying man, is forcing terror Raw is war. On the ECW Monday Night Raw for 30 years, on the 1,000 episode, 2,000 SmackDown, that The Rock has been electrifying on SmackDown with Lita. Most electrifying match. They did not want her to do that match. They did not want her to pull that move out because they know when that move was coming, that Lita was picking up that victory, and she did. Surprise in-ring turn, just like when she came for that steel cage match and knocked these two knuckleheads together and dominate every single woman as women's champion. And broke the record with Trish Stratus for it all. With the radar superstar Edge, the legendary, who I can't wait comes back and gets his revenge on Finn Balor. Hopefully tonight when he's versing Chad. I thought this was wrestling. That scene competition. She lost anyways. And Trish Stratus is hurt enough. And there's JBL. There's the Animals. Turn as number 5 in the first ever Royal Rumble match. And winning the 8-man tag team match with Bayley and Sasha Banks is involved in that. I've seen her do that all. And so she had to kind of grow on to me at first because that's what I seen at her with the rare Superstar Edge. And now that I go back, then I seen all the other ones and was starting to like her and stuff. It's just, that's what I see at the time because, they was there way before I was born. And I got to see all the other sides of Lita, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not so bad as I thought it was. And like I said, now Lita, I seen her return in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. I seen her at the Tables for Three. I see her return as new tag team women's champion, not only a 6-time women's champion, the Rated R Superstar Edge. She was winning the 4-on-4 8-woman tag team match before all that even happened. And now she's one half of the tag team women's champion. So I wanted to celebrate the Hall of Fame legendary Lita. And that Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, I think, is going to challenge Lita and Becky Lynch for the tag team titles this Friday night SmackDown for WrestleMania. Tag team action for those tag team champions belts on the line for all the Marvels and beyond. Now, with that being said, let's talk about my favorite, Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus, I've liked her since day one. I didn't have to be persuaded or be like, oh, this side of her. Trish Stratus has always been one that I liked. And these are the most defining moves of Trish Stratus. The top 3 legendary matches of Trish Stratus. For all of them and beyond. Now there's a couple ones here. Her 7 Women's Championship win. But we're going to do WWE matches, legendary Trish.
I am a 6-time women's champion. If you get into the ring with me, I will end your career. Just like that.
Six time. Well, 1, 2, 3. Skip a few. Now we got Hall of Famer, legendary 7-time women's champion, and in the first ever women's Royal Rumble, broke the record with Lita, who dominated with Lita once again, becoming tag team women's champion, dominating on Raw's War and Friday Night SmackDown for the championship belt for the Royal Rumble, collaborated with that 4-frame and tag team match with Sasha Banks, winning it all with her and Bayley along the sides of the horsewoman that she broke the record for that to happen. A stem here, man. And she backed up every single one that she said back then and still now today. There, and it's just Stratus. Winning the SummerSlam match against Charlotte, proving that she still got it all. Breaking the record with Lita and winning it all at the end of the day for the championship belt in that same order. And getting the last laugh in her own hometown. With the hockey team, I seen her on there, so I was like, why don't they bring her on? And they did the week after. Yeah, that was a defiant match between her and Lita. That is a real wrestling match, and not some pill fight. Real defying match with championship belts, not some butterfly. And still back then and now, they're still dominating together. How ironic is that? Just Stratus and Lita. With Becky Lynch, who's learned from that, or Sasha Banks has learned from that, who was there. And now Becky Lynch and Lita are tag team women's champion, and Trish Stratus is still in the category. with the table for three in the WWE history, with legends and finals and defining matches as such. That is what's so divine. Now, since we have more time, I want to show some other matches. Now, I definitely had to celebrate, Becky Lynch and Lita as tag team women, as Lita Hall of Fame legendary 6-time women's champion, one half of the tag team women's champion, and big time Bex, the other half of the tag team women's champion, horsewoman, two belt Bex. It was learned it all from that woman, Lita as tag team women's champion, that why the other tag team women's champion is Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw. That will be on there. Of course, tonight, the tag team women's champions, they should be, right? But like I said, I think Trish Stratus, or not Trish Stratus, I think that Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will challenge them at WrestleMania for those titles as far as that goes. And of course, I've celebrated John Cena, legend who's returning tonight against Austin Theory for the United States Championship over a dozen times. You know that. If you watch my podcast, you know that John Cena has been celebrated on here millions of times. So you know that for a fact. And of course, with Bianca Belair and Asuka, you know that as well. And Carmella, just because she returned and she was in the category with Asuka and Bianca before they settled it for the Raw and Championship Elimination Chamber for Asuka and Bianca to do so at WrestleMania. And I had them on here. I wanted to show you this videos though. But since we got time, I'll show what I said earlier for my Raw predictions for tonight.
In my opinion, my favorite of all time, John Cena. You can't give me. Okay, make sure you that follow, that like, that share, subscribe, let it go. You should be telling me my Monday Night Raw prediction for tonight with a 16-time champ, Hall of Fame legendary, best WWE superstar in history. In my opinion, my favorite of all time, John.
Because back then, Lita was a legendary, and still today, Lita is a legendary. It's tag team one champion. And then big time Bex was the other half tag team one champion. Learned from that legendary. So I had to celebrate big time Bex and Lita. And celebrate Trish Stratus because she's then and now still legendary as well in that category. With Bayley, who won that 8 tag team match with her. And Damage Control off the NXT, who's there now. So I had to celebrate all of the above. And John Cena, I celebrated him over a million times. His birthday, his 20 years, his when he's on the bump, he's returned tonight in Boston, Massachusetts. United States champion Austin Theory, who's been wanting to challenge him for it and all, and still wants to challenge him tonight for it at WrestleMania, I believe. And of course, Seth Rollins as well, and Logan Paul with the wrestling history of amongst each other. Logan Paul with the Miz at WrestleMania getting stabbed in the back, saying, fuck you, and start playing with fire with Seth Rollins. Now Seth Rollins is going to finish it like Roman did when he got the broken knee for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. And then Seth Rollins, of course, hitting below the belt, talking about, oh, well, you really thought the same thing, losing, the boxing match, getting his head a little bit strong, why he is the king of manipulation and mind games, why you don't want to play with fire with Seth Rollins, because you will get burned down by him. And then I just want to throw a couple things out of there because it just made the perfect sense. Now, this is the other one I wanted to talk about with return to it. Wrong one. Now, to close this video out, I closed it up, reopened it, reimbursed it, talked about that down. Wanted to defy that, wanted to kind of bring that back and acknowledge a little bit more. Now, since we got time, we will celebrate the other video just because I like her so much, and of course, Lita's there too. But like I said before, Trish Stratus, and these are the legendary ones, and this is her 7-time women's champions. Since we got time, we'll do that. I had to celebrate back then Trish Stratus with the legacy that she is, and still today how she's legacy, as you saw on Monday Night Raw, and she's on tables for 3 now. Now she's tag team one champion. Lita did it now, also defined. But we'll talk about the 7-time women's championship uh, victories that Trish Stratus has achieved since we got time to celebrate that. Since we already celebrated Asuka, Bianca Belair for WrestleMania, Raw Women's Champion, I think that would be one of the matches that kind of steal WrestleMania, along with Seth and Logan Paul. Since we did the history of that, we did John Cena return tonight, Trish Stratus then, and Lita last. So let's do the 7-time Women's Champion of Trish Stratus for the rest of this video, and then I will do the 6-time one for Lita. Kind of just exurb and talk about, like we do. Survivor Series in 2001 when I was born. Winning her first ever Women's World Heavyweight Championship belt. A strong, defiant Women's Champion. And not some damn butterfly. Bulldog from Trish Stratus, made famously. 2 for the twice of 1. And there's Bubba in her hometown as one of the Dudley boys. What goes up must come down for 3 times the charm. A Bulldog champion, a DDT champion, hometown champion, celebrating with the Dudley boys, her family, and her friends. And that was at Survivor Series and WrestleMania, the greatest stage of them all. I like the ones more outside than inside at WrestleMania, but they're both amazing. And here she is, XXX, 4-time Women's Champion. And you see Lita, Trish Stratus in a triple threat. Five for half of the fingers on the fan. 5-time Women's Champion. Wins over Victoria and Lita. And she wasn't even in the match. So it happens in a triple threat. You don't have to be in the ring to lose your championship belt. In a New Year's Revolution, with Trish winning over Lita to break that history for a 6-time Women's Champion. With just one kick in the mouth like that. Chick kick. 7-time Women's Champion. Using her own shooting star. Shooting stars with a sharpshooter like that. She not only wants to beat you, she wants to punish you. And that is why she's a 7-time Hall of Famer, legendary 7-time Women's Champion back then and now still making history as Trish Stratus. I think she's on table 3. I've seen her on there a couple times. And Lita's one half of the tag team, she's a 6-time Women's Champion in that same category. Now we'll do Lita's championship. I'm not that sure what to that. There you go. This is you had Raw, SmackDown, WWF, ECW, Raw and War, the ultimate like NWO before all that, and then and now still Trish Stratus and Lita turning heads, cracking skulls, and making history. And what better than Big Time X with now today's society to be able to like, whoa, you're the one that made this possible, and still in society made that happen. Like I was talking about with the Shield when I was celebrating Seth Rollins, and now look on and then John Cena with his return tonight as part of Legend. I talked about celebrating Trish Stratus. I talked about celebrating Trish Stratus' return on Monday Night Raw, and Lita as one half of the tag team one champion on Monday Night Raw. Lita now dominate with Trish Stratus and Lita as 6-time and 7-time women's champion on Monday Night Raw, Tail for 3 tag team one champion on Monday Night Raw, and now Becky Lynch made that possible with celebrating all three of them, and John Cena's returning to Boston, Massachusetts tonight, celebrating him with their United States champion Austin Theory, and of course I wanted to start one of the contests because of what they're running. So I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do with these returns and stuff with Oxa and Big and Bianca Belair for the Raw show at WrestleMania. That it'd be fun to do with her and Oxa having so much in common and gonna dominate and collide that together at WrestleMania. That would be a defining match to be able to process and see and be like, hey, this is a match you're not gonna want to miss. Then we talked about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the NXT doing the exact same thing to each other. And now here they are, Might Not Raw's tag team partners and against each other. Better off alone, and still the same problem with the bloodline back then and now. Roman Reigns, Universal Champion, and why the family's been dominated for 30 years on Monday Night Raw. Probably longer than that because Monday Night Raw is only 30 years. Think about, like I said, ECW, Raw's War, and all that before Monday Night Raw with dominant professional legends still wrestling on top of that. So imagine that and beyond in today's society. Imagine, the crunch those numbers a little bit. That's longer than 30 years. Hell, even a year dominating is defined because things can happen in a week, in a day. So, you've seen how that easily could change hands. So for them to dominate and beyond, even after years defined, let alone for 30. So I want to show one last one, and then to end this out, to end this video, my I showed my Raw prediction for tonight. I guess I could go ahead and do my Friday Night SmackDown. That I think, like I said, Trish Stratus being able to do that. We talked about celebrating Trish Stratus, still then and now legend, who returned last week on Monday Night Raw, who one half of the tag team was champion Lita, then and now dominant Monday Night Raw, who Becky Lynch is now currently tag team women's champion in today's society, making history. And then that brought me back to like Bailey and Sasha Banks a part of the Horsewoman and Charlotte at SmackDown women's champion with Rhea Ripley. That brought me to celebrating that and the workouts as Dominic was on one of them. Then that brought me to WrestleMania. Like, talk about legendaries on the bio. Let's talk about Rey Mysterio and Dominic for WrestleMania for what happened on Friday Night SmackDown and their workouts and stuff. That's what connected them all together and made me think about that. Then we already celebrate John Cena's return tonight in Boston, Massachusetts, and we already celebrate, Gurn's return and Burns Monday, and also we celebrate, like I said, with Gurn's injury and everything going well in Natalia with the third generation to give that opportunity, and Bianca Belair as well on here as Raw's champion, my favorite WWE superstar. So you already know by now, celebrate multiple times for the EST and Cena. That if you watch my podcast, you're gonna know they're my top dogs on here. You're gonna know they're probably gonna talked about every single time almost on here by now, over 1,000 times at least, enough to think it's almost every time by now as far as those two go. So anyway, that's in it. That's what brings me to tonight's my prediction this Friday Night SmackDown prediction and towards WrestleMania prediction matches and want to happen more in the future. And I think that would cover pretty much everything for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to follow, like, share, subscribe on both Instagram and YouTube. And I will see you guys next time. And Queen Krazy K is out. Peace.